Hey everybody, welcome to my channel, Mental Health Importance. What if I told you that some of your favorite celebrities have been struggling with mental illness for years and finally decided to share their stories about it? In this video, I want to share some stories about celebrities who have been open about their battles with mental illness and how they overcame them. Some people might be surprised by these well-known figures, but we all need to know that there is no shame in accepting when something isn't working or needs help. These celebrities are not just breaking down stigma. They are helping us have essential discussions and even inspire people who may be struggling themselves to seek treatment, which is why we rounded up some of the most inspiring stories here. Adele Laurie Blue Adkins. Adele is a Grammy Award-winning artist who has previously opened up about her battles with postpartum depression. "I had really bad PPD after my son was born, and it frightened me," says Adele in an interview last year on Vanity Fair. The 28-year-old talks candidly about how she was able to get back on track after giving birth, including what helped during those dark times, in which it felt like nothing would make a difference. "I started taking care of myself by eating well," says the internationally recognized artist, whose work has been featured everywhere, from Rolling Stone magazine covers, for example, to Academy Awards lists. She admitted that she didn't take any medication for this mental illness, but instead chose to handle things herself without getting help from others, which left her feeling ashamed of how much pain she felt inside at the time and not knowing what else could be done. Lady Gaga. The mental health community was abuzz with news when Lady Gaga bravely revealed post-traumatic stress disorder. "I've never told anyone before," said the singer in an interview, "so here we are." Since then, her advocacy work has continued and most recently included a letter where she expressed how daily struggles with PTSD have affected herself and those close to them, like doctors or friends. Lady Gaga credited this mental illness to help understand how other people feel in their own lives when experiencing trauma or war scenes on film. They have seen it as well because of her personal experience at 18 years old. She was raped shortly after enrolling in college, but didn't reveal anything until a 2014 interview during a music awards show broadcast worldwide while accepting Golden Globe Award. Daniel Radcliffe. Radcliffe revealed in an interview with The Sun that he had OCD when he was just 5 years old. But then it got worse. The compulsion would feel like something from another world and made everything seem wrong without explanation. Writer Alexandra DeLucia says that when Daniel started having issues turning off lights for more than a few seconds at night, she knew there had to be some way they could help him. They contacted mental health experts who recommended cognitive behavioral therapy, CBT. When Radcliffe was a child, he would often feel that people were staring at him. He had this feeling no matter how many times his friends told him otherwise, and even when they weren't looking at all. Leonardo DiCaprio. Leonardo DiCaprio, the Oscar-winning actor, an obsessive-compulsive disorder, OCD sufferer, accepts he feels obligated that he must walk through doorways multiple times and step on the sidewalk when used chewing gum is present. Leonardo has spoken about the feeling of having to repeat specific actions to cope with OCD. For example, an individual might feel compelled toward repetitive tasks like washing hands repeatedly until they are satisfied or counting cards or blackjack tables, even though there is no winning strategy for doing so. Both situations could be considered obsessive thoughts rather than true compulsions driving behaviors. But despite this odd behavior pattern and need of control from time to time, Leo has managed not only to keep his OCD tendencies hidden deep down, but also use them as an advantage for success. For example, he says, "I'm able to say at some point, 'Okay, you're being ridiculous. Stop stepping on every gum spot we see. You don't need to do that anymore.'" Dan Reynolds. Dan Reynolds, the lead singer and founder of Imagine Dragons, has been open about his mental illness journey. Dan is now bravely facing his demons. He has been honest about being depressed as hell for years and even talked openly with people on social media platforms like Facebook or Twitter. He would post messages detailing how lousy life feels without getting into too much detail. The lyrics on the debut album were all inspired by this dark time in Dan's life when he was going through depression, but eventually found hope with therapy, which saved him from suicide attempts or thoughts every day. He attributes some success stories like himself to explain why talking openly about your struggles can help others reach out for professional assistance if they need to, even though sometimes people might not want public acknowledgement. Michael Phelps. Michael Phelps had ADHD. He's an American swimmer who was diagnosed with attention deficit hyperactivity disorder, ADHD, at the tender age of 9. For this gangly boy with a wild spirit and endless energy, writer Patrick Barkham says, the swimming pool became not only his sanctuary, but also served as one way for him to burn off some excess steam. The concept of role models may seem like a cliche in today's society, but these Olympians from all walks can truly inspire other athletes once written off because they are living proof that anything is possible when you put your heart into it. The swimmer has used his voice to advocate for mental health and opened up about how depression and anxiety have affected him over time during an interview at the Kennedy Forum Conference. He revealed that post-Olympics was one point where things got so bad he had suicidal thoughts, which prompted him to seek out help from a therapist. I didn't want people who loved me, family members, find out what I'm going through, he said. Donnie Osmond. Donnie Osmond, the singer and actor who has appeared in many films and on TV shows like Dancing with the Stars, has struggled with an anxiety disorder. In 1996, he finally received a diagnosis for social phobia, which comes from irrational fears of situations where others might judge one or face scrutiny about themselves, such as public speaking, demanding audiences watching your every move. Donnie Osmond is a celebrity who has been struggling with social anxiety since he was in his early years. He was diagnosed with generalized anxiety disorder by 2 doctors, one mental health professional, another general practitioner. Donnie blamed his childhood stardom for the condition. He was always taught to be perfect, but he said that there are times where if given a choice between walking on stage or dying, he would have picked death. His sister Marie also had some input. She used to watch from behind closed doors when Donnie struggled in dress rehearsals and performances. It never occurred to her how stressed out he really must have been feeling before coming into view on stage. Osmond became an honorary member of the Anxiety and Depression Association of America. Steve Young. Steve Young is a former NFL football player and BYU graduate with an impeccable reputation. But in his book, QB, My Life Behind the Spiral, he reveals that there has been one dark secret: anxiety disorder for much of this life behind him. Young was a star athlete in high school, but he kept his anxiety secret. Finally, he applied to attend Greenwich High School and became captain of all 3 football, baseball, and basketball. Young's fear of failure made him feel weak, ashamed, and guilty. The football player feared disappointing others more than anything else in the world. That is why he played it safe, by avoiding risk-taking outside his job as an athlete. But this only caused Young's anxiety to worsen during the off-seasons without pressure. Young kept his anxiety to himself, but not for long. His best friend and confidant has been former American football tight end Brent Jones, whom he shared a room with while they were both at school. Young wasn't diagnosed until 32, when it became clear that something was wrong, and anxious. After that, he went beyond in minimizing pressure by never drinking alcohol or using recreational drugs. Demi Lovato. Demi Lovato was diagnosed with bipolar disorder in 2011 while receiving treatment at Timberline Knolls. She had her documentary aired on MTV entitled Stay Strong. In its 6-part series, where we watch as this inspiring young woman shares not only what living with a mental disease is like, but also inspires others through open statements about hers, such that maybe someone else needs some hope or encouragement out there too. Demi revealed that she too had been battling mental illness. She spoke candidly about her battles with addiction and eating disorders. During that time, doctors diagnosed her with bipolar disorder. But most importantly, Demi advocates heavily within Hollywood against underage drinking, while also speaking publicly at schools, encouraging young people not to feel isolated when dealing with their issues, because there are resources available no matter what they look like. Chrissy Teigen. Some people take their lives into their own hands, while others find the strength to share what they are going through. For example, in an essay for Glamour magazine's April 2017 issue, Chrissy Teigen revealed that she suffers from postpartum depression. Unfortunately, it has been quite difficult without any support or understanding of this illness until now. Chrissy Teigen recently discussed her struggles with her mental health, including anxiety and postpartum depression after giving birth to her first child. She told Glamour in an interview that she had been dealing with normal 20-something anxiousness all along. However, it wasn't until approximately 3 months following the birth of her daughter Luna, 2016, did something seem off. A week later, doctors found out she was suffering from hyperemesis gravidarum, HG, which is commonly known as pregnancy sickness, but can also lead women into periods without appetite or not eating much at all due to nausea during their pregnancies. Katy Perry. In the past few months, Perry has found herself at a crossroads. The artist is now on an emotional journey of self-discovery that will lead her down new paths and help make up for lost time with what's important in life, not material things. Perry found that the public's reaction to her music disappointed and broke her heart despite her success. So she went on a journey of reconnecting herself through understanding our essential parts of living life. Things like self-worth or true happiness don't come from material possessions, but knowing yourself first. Serena Williams. Williams' troubled history with depression started over 10 years ago. Like many who struggle to maintain a healthy mind, Williams is prone at times and then without warning. There are times where it has even interrupted her career as an athlete. Serena Williams opened up about her experience with postpartum depression and how it has impacted her motherhood. In an article for CNN, she described how she nearly died while giving birth. Because of Williams' medical history, a condition called pulmonary embolism, which occurs when one or more arteries in the lungs become blocked by blood clots. She was lucky to survive. She had problems during pregnancy, like a C-section wound popping open due to intense coughing and a deep vein thrombosis, DVT. Serena Williams knows the best way of solving her depression isn't by ignoring it or hoping that things will get better on their own. Instead, she actively searches for solutions. Subscribe and turn on notifications so you don't miss more videos of the importance of mental health and much more. Check out the other videos of mental health importance, and I'll see you in the next video. Take care.